morning, guys. Very, very early morning to you guys. Firstly, no comments about my dress. I have received that umpteen number of times since the morning. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, this isn't really my usual dress. I'm usually dressed in t-shirts with like sports shoes out there. Today morning, my wife recognized that I had to be speaking somewhere. And in the grand image that she has about her husband, she decided that I should dress up appropriately. So, no offense to all the engineering community. All right. I welcome you all to our first technology conference. Now, we've actually been talking about this for a fairly long amount of time now, okay? And even within our own engineering team, we have been. I've heard a lot of questions around why are we doing this conference, right? So I thought actually, I should actually have a slide about this. So. Can we put this on? Okay. Right. So as I was saying, why have /n? We started out in October 2007, grew very, very rapidly, and in a lot of ways, we ended up defining e-commerce in India. E-commerce as an industry actually had existed in India for a fairly large amount of time, like close to a decade, actually. But when Flipkart started out, for some reason, there was a very large buzz around e-commerce. That buzz was an output of the work that we actually ended up doing. So in a lot of ways, we have made e-commerce happen in India. And we are still building on it. There's a very large distance that continues, that we actually have to cover ahead in the future. And there are two pivots when we actually introspected about how we actually became successful. There were two pivots that actually came to our mind. One was our immense customer focus, almost to the degree of, a maniacal level of customer focus. Second was our very deep technology focus, okay? And these two are not really very disconnected if you think about it. If you're thinking about customers, right? You're thinking about end-to-end e-commerce experience. People are not coming to Flipkart because you've got an awesome website, right? People are coming to you because they have a product need, and you are best placed in the market to actually fulfill that need, okay? And that cannot happen without having control over each and every leg of that experience. And that cannot happen without very, very deep technology investments into each one of these areas, which is one reason why we ended up going very, very deep into technology in each one of these areas, be it our customer-facing side of technologies, the website, the mobile, or be it the way we ended up solving our supply chain technologies, logistics. A lot of you guys would be aware that we actually have our own logistics setup, right? We ended up investing very deeply on the technology front in this domain, and that ended up being a very large contributor to our success. So it's each and every aspect of this end-to-end experience that we ended up covering. In fact, even customer support, a lot of people end up, talking about the very different, very fresh customer service experience that people have on Flipkart. That is also a reflection of very deep amount of technology investment that we've done in that domain. Okay, I was having a conversation with somebody in the morning today over breakfast that you guys must, are mostly a web company, right? You guys must not, be investing into, say, for example, customer support or, essentially largely outsourcing out these pieces, okay? The answer is that we have invested deeply into these areas. The reason being that without those investments, we cannot scale out the intelligence that actually goes behind giving a great experience to this large set of customers. So, as I was saying, we actually didn't do too bad on technologies. So, over time we realized that we have created a reasonably good technology setup. So we went out, spoke at a few conferences, and the kind of response that we got from these guys was that this is great. You guys should actually share this out a lot more. Okay? This happened when we have attended developer conferences. This happened when we've attended conferences around Linux or production systems operations. We have got this feedback when we have attended UI conferences. Irrespective of the technology domain, whenever we have spoken at these conferences, people have come back and told us that you guys should share this out a lot more. Okay? We also got this feedback from our own engineering teams. Okay? So I remember a few incidents where some of our engineering teams have attended some of these conversations and realized, came back to the office and told us, we are actually doing a lot more than what I had imagined it to be. Okay? We should actually share about it. We should talk about it. We should share it out a lot more. And that's when started our technology blog. Right? Some of you guys might have actually gone through that. Now, for the past quite a few months now, actually, we have been taking the first few initial steps towards sharing out a lot more of our technology creation than what we've done in the past. Okay, this conference is yet another step in the same direction. All right. So as I said, here we are talking about sharing, right? Our own learnings, our mistakes, the kind of creation that we ended up doing, our breakthroughs, with the hope that it helps us all. Now, Flipkart as a company did not, Flipkart as a company and its technology did not end up getting created out of thin air, right? It came from people who have learned, from their past experiences, okay? It came from a lot of discussions that we've had with folks outside of Flipkart. Okay, it came from a lot of our readings on the internet about technology practices, what kind of technology breakthroughs are happening in the rest of the world, right? So we have learned from these kind of technology discussions outside. Okay, as one of the foremost technology setups in India today, I think it's a responsibility that we carry to share this out, to share out our own experiences, our own learnings in terms of what it takes to create this deep technology setup. Okay, that to me is the core of the conference, the discussion that we are actually having today. All right. So the idea is that we have learned from people. There would be others who would learn from us and would actually, we build on top of each other's success. Okay, it becomes a very sweet cycle, self-sustaining cycle beyond a certain critical threshold. Okay, there have been, a few companies in India who've been doing this for a fair amount of time. We've attended these conferences. We have gained from the kind of discussions we participated in these conferences. I'm hoping that all of you who've come over today, you end up gaining a lot, from our experiences today. So the idea is to actually make the technology ecosystem in India a lot more self-sustaining. Okay, the kind of talent that we have today in India, particularly in the Bangalore side of things, is massive. I can tell you, a lot of the folks within Flipkart are folks who come back from the Bay Area and actually, bring in that kind of a gene pool, bring in that kind of a talent. Okay, very recently, I was, not very, very recently actually, sometime in November 2011, if I remember correctly, Mekin and I had gone over to the US for hiring. Okay, so that, I'm really sorry about this. This is my calendar. Excuse me. Yeah. So Megan and I had been to the US in New Jersey and the Bay Area for hiring. Okay, and it was so delightful to see, after having interviewed a whole bunch of people, it was so delightful to see that in terms of the kind of technology gap that existed possibly a decade back was not there at all. And this is something that I'm talking about over 1 year and a few months back. Okay, I'm sure that over the past 1 year, it has actually even gotten even better. Okay, so what we are hoping to do is that through these kind of technology discussions, through these kinds of conferences, we create this self-sustaining cycle in the technology ecosystem in India. Not just so it's less about if I can put it out like that, it's less about Flipkart alone. Okay, there are a whole bunch of companies out here who are actually doing good kind of work. Okay, we believe that in terms of the kind of work that we are doing, we are amongst the topmost companies in terms of the kind of technology investments that we do. So the responsibility lies with companies like us in order to drive this kind of mechanism in the technology community to share out a lot more. Okay, so I also thought about talking a little bit about technology at Flipkart. Okay, what do you largely think about the technology at Flipkart? My question is particularly to folks who are guests today. Feel completely free. Web company? Consumer-driven company. I like that statement. Love that statement. In terms of the kind of areas, I already gave you guys a hint. Even our customer support appears to be, fairly technology-driven system. But what else? So we actually have investments into our website of things, right? In terms of traffic, we are amongst the most visited sites in India. If I were to go by Alexa rankings, we actually we are ranked 13th today. And if I were to look at purely Indian sites that are created out of India and are actually primarily visited by Indians, we rank number 2 today. Okay, and we are the only ones in the top 3 who's actually growing. Okay, so it's a matter of a few months before the inevitable happens. All right. That kind of scale is what we build our web systems for. In terms of our transactional system, so as an e-commerce player, we actually have a transactional side to the picture as well, right? We generate the highest number of orders per day in the e-commerce ecosystem in India. That's the kind of scale that we deal with on our transactional side of things. In terms of the amount of storage that we end up generating, still not up there, to the likes of, massive internet companies like Google, but, it's still extremely technically challenging. Okay, we end up generating close to half a terabyte of data per day, and that volume of data is growing non-linearly with our traffic, because our richness of systems is also increasing. Okay, so that is the kind of those are the kinds of things that we end up dealing with at Flipkart. Okay, we have our investments into every leg of e-commerce. Like I said, it's not just the web pieces, it's not just the supply chain pieces. We have technology investments even into business intelligence. Okay, how do you do inventory planning, very efficiently? How do you do pricing very intelligently? How do you maintain a very rich and correct catalog? Right, we've got catalog of the size of close to about 18 million products, 18 to 20 million products. Okay, how do you actually end up maintaining this kind of a catalog very efficiently? Okay, we end up having technology investments into each one of these areas. All right, and in every area that we have invested our technology in, we have come out as the best. We ended up investing into payments because the rate at which we wanted the payment industry to mature, it was not happening. We ended up investing into logistics because the rate at which the logistics industry had to mature was not happening. Okay, that's the reason why we ended up investing into each one of these areas, and that's the reason why we are here today. That's the reason for our success. All right. To give you a sense of the diversity of our technologies, right? This is another story. So, during our hiring discussions, I've often heard people, are you primarily a Java shop? Are you primarily a PHP shop? This is just a glimpse of the set of technology that we end up dealing with. Okay? This is one of the beautiful things about Flipkart. I like to think of it as technology democracy, where engineers are free to experiment with the kind of technologies that they want. They are free to choose the kind of technologies that best suits the problem at hand. Okay? Of course, service-oriented architecture ends up making it a lot more easy for us. I'm giving you this context so that you start off the conference today with a lot more open mind about Flipkart. All right, about the set of technologies that we deal with, the diversity of domains that we deal with. We have not spoken a lot of, of these things out there in the public. We've largely been to web forums, in some cases storage-related forums, in some cases Linux administration-related forums. But we haven't really gone out there and showcased the sheer diversity of things that we deal with. Okay, that is another reason why we are having this discussion today. All right. Thirdly, the technology at Flipkart is not about making tools. It's about making intelligent systems that can run on their own. That is, one of the fundamental pivots around which we base our technology decisions. And of course, great people, a lot of whom you would end up catching up with today. So please do make all the use that you can of whatever kind of technical exchanges that you want to have with these people. All right. What to expect at /N? Crazy folks, some with red eyes, including mine. The organizers, I think I'd given you guys a note earlier. I would want to have a conversation in terms of the timings of these meetings. So thank you so much for actually coming over so early in the morning. I'm sure that you guys made good use of the tea and coffee upstairs to get you going. And I'm hoping that post talks like mine, you wouldn't actually need to rely on tea and coffee. Okay, I understand this is possibly, mine and Sharad's are the only two non-technical talk. Knowing the background of Sharad, for all his talk might actually be a little more technical than mine. But yeah, so I think in terms of The set of people that you will actually meet, these are great people, so please do try to make the best use of them. Then, of course, these are people who've invited more crazy folks. No offense to you guys. Okay, I'm hoping that you guys take this in a positive spirit. All right. Great technology discussions would be another thing to look forward to. Diversity of subjects and people. All right. And the work that we will be talking about is not theory. The work that we are talking about is real life work, real life situations, and real life learnings. All right. So, yeah, with this, I'm ending my conversation. All right. Okay, the claps are already on. Thank you so much. All right. Yes, yes. Give me 2 more minutes. Can't wait for the technology discussions. I understand. So let me actually invite our Sharad, who is gratefully accepted to be our keynote speaker. He comes from a great background. He was the former head at Yahoo R&D, and currently is a board member of Indian Angel Network, and also is in a senior position at NASCOM. Sharad, please.